Today, we are invited as guests on a real spaceship. We will take part in a space show, find out how the inhabitants of our worlds take care of their home planets, and talk about our own environmental activities. Wow! Just look at how many interesting things are here. Since childhood, I dreamed of becoming an astronaut and surfing the vastness of universe. Hey guys, where are you? Yeah, it looks like this is the show we were invited to participate in.
Welcome everyone to the Hogton Show. I am your host, George Hogton. If you're joining us for the first time, I am in fact an immortal pig monster from the stars. Every millennia I choose a new world on which to do my podcast. Where are we this time around?
Earth. We call our planet Earth.
Earth? Great. How creative. Sounds like a clever bunch that run this world. What are they called? Humans? Humans? Great, whatever. So these humans, after exhausting their great intellect, decided to call their world dirt.
Earth.
Oh, what should we call our world? Well, it's made of earth and water, so let's call it Earth. 70% of this cusshole is made of water, and they went with Earth. Now, naming your planet water would be just as stupid. But whatever. What do you want, huh? What the cuss do you want from me, you jerks? I didn't name it.
Sorry, I seem to be in the wrong place. Obviously, this is not the show we were hoping for. Hello, Piglet. Where are you? I seem to have lost my way. Got to some strange, sarcastic show with a green hawk.
Okay, Captain. I can see you on my GPS scanner. Go straight and don't turn off anywhere. We are waiting for you in the central hall.
Well, that's much better. It really looks like a fascinating space show.
What's up guys, my name is Kiru and welcome aboard my fabulous spaceship, the Humongous. That is my best friend Peter, and this is the story of our vacation. And of course, we're headed to the beautiful planet Helonia. Seriously, it's like the most beautiful place I've ever been to. I've been to Connecticut. Planet Helonia is located in the Milky Way galaxy about 200 light years from Earth. It orbits a star similar to our Sun in the most optimal part of the Goldilocks zone. The planet itself is orbited by an ice moon roughly half the size of our moon, which regulates the temperature on the surface to anywhere between 20 degrees Celsius at its coldest to 45 degrees at its hottest. Needless to say, it's always the perfect temperature. The people of planet Helonia are like the spoiled rich kids of the galaxy. They evolved in a world with an overabundance of resources. The planet's surface is 80% water and littered top to bottom with hundreds of thousands of highly fertile islands. The natives of the world are humanoid beings called Sylvans. And goddamn if they aren't all just a bunch of dime pieces.
I would like to sincerely thank Saren Ratnam for participating in our environmental challenge with his vision of a future bright world. You can see all Saren's cartoons on his YouTube channel, Cosmic Freeway. All links in the description of this video on YouTube. beloved planet Helunia. We inhabitants of the Earth still need to work hard to make our planet as clean and beautiful. This is what we will talk about in the second part of our show.
My dear friends, we are happy to welcome you on our show, Entertaining Science. Today our meeting is devoted to zoology, and our speaker will be the famous herpetologist Mr. Hamster. Let me remind you that herpetology is the branch of zoology concerned with the study of amphibians and reptiles. And as a guest star, we invited the most famous enlightener of all times, Euclid of Alexandria, on whose textbooks whole generations of scientists had grown. And now Mr. Hamster will tell us his story. So, Mr. Hamster, is it true that you fled to the magic forest from communist North Korea?
Yes, as a young scientist, I was engaged in biological research for the communist regime of North Korea. Have you heard about famous boiled frog experiment? If you take an ordinary frog and put it in a vessel of hot water, then naturally it will not like it and will try to get out as soon as possible. If you place the frog in a vessel of cool water, it will feel quite comfortable and will not try to escape. But if now we start heating the water in a vessel and we do it very slowly, then the frog cannot feel such slow changes and will continue to enjoy life. Gradually the temperature of the water reaches dangerous values. But our frog does not notice this, because it has already got used to gradual changes. Suspect that something is wrong, the frog begins to late. By this time, it has already weakened from overheating, cannot get out of the jar, and eventually dies a terrible death. Yes, dies a terrible death.
My God, what awful experiments! But for what purpose North Korean regime does such research?
In fact, human behavior is much like the behavior of this frog. If you make changes slowly enough, you can accustom a person to any, even the most horrible things. Therefore, communist leaders, using ruthless experiments on frogs, try to work out methods of influencing human consciousness.
It is so horrible. I will allow myself to draw your attention to the deeper meaning of this experiment. In the upcoming conditions of global warming and the general deterioration of the ecological situation, all of humanity has turned into this very boiled frog. The planet is warming up more and more, and we continue to mindlessly spend invaluable resources on all kinds of completely secondary tasks, as if nothing terrible is happening. Can it not be that once we find ourselves on planet unfit for life, and we don't have time or energy left to correct the situation. Oh yes, I think this is a very appropriate observation. We have to stop doing all sorts of nonsense and throw all the forces to save our home planet. I want to thank our guest for such interesting discussion and say goodbye to all our viewers. Until the next meeting on our show. Bye bye.
I was asked to briefly introduce our project, New Amazing Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, because lately I am responsible for its development. The main goal of this project is to show how anyone can make cartoons. Our experienced cartoon instructors will show you how to create your own character and teach him to move. And you can even take part in the creation of a cartoon about the adventures of Winnie the Pooh and his friends. So let me give the floor to our first instructor.
In our previous lesson, I gave you a set of models and footages on the theme, the severe Russian Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, and offered to do a little cartoon about how Winnie the Pooh and Piglet decided to take a walk in the woods and what came of it. Well, it is better to see once than to hear 100 times. Now we will look at the cartoon which we eventually got, and then talk about how this cartoon was made. So, once upon a time in a magic forest.
Шум в затылке не беда. В голове моей опилки, да.
Hello, Piglet. What are you doing? Tell me please, Winnie, what do you think? How far away is Africa? Oh, brother, Africa. Africa is cool. Of course, it is awfully far away. This is Africa. It is on the other side of the world. Do you see that far, far away hill? So, I think Africa is 2 more times farther. So you want to say that Africa is just over that hill? Well, something like that. But we have never been in Africa. You want to go to Africa? I think it would be great. Africa it is such... There is so much of all. There is all around one real big Africa. Not bad idea at all. Let's go to Africa. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet go to Africa. Wow, that's cool. Fearless travelers go in search of new adventures. Before them lies the path full of dangers and amazing discoveries.
Ой, ух!
Oi!
Ай, ой, ух!
Oops! And where from we had fallen?
My dear friends, let me present to you, without a doubt, the easiest to learn and most effective method of creating animation, which will allow you to create animations of optimal quality quickly and without excessive effort. So what does our course consist of? In the first part, we will walk you through the basics of our animation technique, using a cool South Park musician as an example. But the most interesting will begin in the second part. We will tell you how to create models with automatic animation that can talk, walk, run, ride horses and much more. All this knowledge will be useful to you in the subsequent parts of our course, where you, under the guidance of our experienced instructors, will create cartoons on topics which you yourself can suggest. Sign up for our courses, visit our website generalanimation.com and our Facebook group for a wealth of additional material. Study animation with us, and we will make cartoons together. You will find all the necessary links in the description of this video on YouTube.
And then, as I understand, you tell about how to make this cartoon character and teach him to play the guitar and other musical instruments in every detail. Wow, it is just wonderful. What's what I call a good occupation for cool guys. Make animated films on most burning problems of our time. So let's not waste time on trifles and immediately create our own animation studio. We name it General Animation to show that we all together will make cartoons on the broadest topics. What could be cooler than the real animation studio? Here everyone will find a suitable activity. We'll need writers to write the scripts, need artists to create characters, actors to voice our cartoon characters, and of course we'll need animators to breathe life into these cartoon characters. So hurry, my dear friends. Anyone who wants to participate in this great project, come to website of our animation studio, generalanimation.com, where we all together will study the art of animation and create fascinating and informative cartoons to make the world the better place to live. Well, my friends, I think it is absolutely brilliant plan. We strongly support it and right now begin to animate. And we will start with a study of how are constructed and how operate the models of today's honor guests of our show, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet.